People say mountains don't keep secrets, but that winter morning, when the sun hid behind thick clouds and the wind screamed across Blackstone Ridge, one secret almost died under the snow. Almost. The villagers remembered only two things clearly: the echo of a woman's scream, and the frantic barking of a dog desperate enough to tear through ice with its teeth. Adrian Hayes had been raised in money, shaped by power, and polished by the kind of privilege that erases consequences. His father, Thomas Hayes, had been a businessman feared across the state, and when he died, he left Adrian a fortune that came with expectations he never met. Please like, comment, subscribe. Need your support and I will keep bringing you such good videos. Thank you. Only one person believed Adrian could still become someone good, his mother, Helena Hayes, but life had not been kind to Helena. A car accident 2 years earlier had left her partially paralyzed, wheelchair-bound, and dependent on others for nearly everything. The only creature she fully trusted anymore was her dog, a large white Samoyed named Luca. Luca slept beside her bed, guarded her like a soldier, and barked at anyone who came near her without permission, especially Adrian. He used to love the dog, until the dog learned to hate him. It began the first time he screamed at Helena, the first time he grabbed her wheelchair roughly, the first time he looked at her not with love, but with calculation. Helena never knew that her son's debts had reached millions, or that dangerous men were now hunting him down, or that he had taken out a life insurance policy on her only 4 months ago, forging her signature. She would have forgiven him everything, if he had just talked to her, but Adrian wanted money, not forgiveness, and so, on that freezing winter morning, he drove his mother to Blackstone Ridge, pretending it was fresh air therapy. Helena, wrapped in a thick blanket, watched the mountains with soft nostalgia. My father used to bring me here, she murmured. I'm glad you brought me, Adrian. It feels like old times. Adrian swallowed hard. Her innocence stabbed him more painfully than her suspicion ever could. He pushed her wheelchair up a narrow trail, pretending he was simply struggling with the incline. In truth, every step felt heavier than the snow beneath him, guilt weighing down his spine like invisible chains. Luca trotted beside Helena, tail wagging, nose nuzzling her hand. Helena smiled and scratched behind his ears. You know, she said softly, sometimes I think Luca understands my heart better than any person. Adrian flinched. The dog lifted its head and stared at him, not with playfulness, but with a sharp, knowing stillness, the kind of stare that made Adrian feel naked. Helena frowned. Adrian, are you all right? You look pale. He managed a smile that didn't reach his eyes. I'm fine, mother. But he wasn't. He was seconds away from doing something unforgivable. The moment they reached the cliff, the valley below was a sheet of white, untouched snow, silent forests, and the river that looked like frozen glass. The world looked peaceful, peaceful enough to bury a secret. Adrian positioned the wheelchair close to the edge. Why are we stopping? Helena asked. To give you the best view, he whispered. Then he stepped behind her, and the world changed. Helena felt a sudden jolt as the wheelchair lurched forward. Her breath caught in her throat. Adrian, she whispered in disbelief. He didn't respond. He couldn't look at her. With one violent push, he sent the chair over the cliff. Helena's scream carved itself into the air, raw, terrified, disbelieving, and then she disappeared. The mountain swallowed her, the snow settled, the echo faded. Adrian stood frozen, shaking violently. He had done it. He had killed the only person who still loved him. The mistake. He turned to walk away, and that's when he realized what he had forgotten. Luca, the dog, was standing right behind him, fur bristling, teeth bared, eyes burning with the kind of rage no human could imitate. Adrian whispered, "Stay back." Luca didn't. He lunged. Adrian dodged, scrambling backward, slipping on the icy ground. The dog didn't attack him fully, not yet. Instead, Luca sprinted toward the cliff and began barking frantically, whining, scratching at the snow, trying to get down, trying to reach Helena. Adrian panicked. He grabbed a rock and screamed, get away. He threw it, the rock missed, but the threat was enough. Luca turned, looked at him one last time, and ran, not away from the cliff, but down the mountain, straight toward the village, straight toward help. Adrian's heart dropped. No, 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 no. He sprinted toward his car. The dog was the witness. And witnesses could ruin everything. Down the MUNT, and Luca ran like the wind was chasing him. By the time he reached the first cabin, his paws were bleeding, his fur covered in frost, his breath coming in sharp gasps. He scratched the door violently. An old man opened it, startled. Luca? What happened to you, boy? The dog grabbed the man's sleeve with his teeth and pulled hard. The man understood enough. He grabbed his coat, radioed the rescue team, and followed Luca into the storm. The rescue. It took 40 minutes to reach the cliffs, and by then Luca was whimpering loudly. They found the broken wheelchair first, then, a few feet down the slope, they found Helena, alive, barely conscious, bleeding heavily. Her body twisted painfully but her eyes open, and the moment she saw Luca, she cried, "Good boy, you came back." Luca curled beside her, licking her face gently. The rescuers carried her up the mountain. She whispered one sentence before fainting. "My son, he pushed me." The DOWNFALL police surrounded Adrian's house. By the time he returned, his hands were still cold, his face still wet with snow, his heart still pounding with the illusion of escape. A detective stepped forward. "Mr. Hayes, your mother is alive." The words punched the air out of him. "She woke up long enough to talk," the detective continued. "And your dog led rescuers straight to her." Adrian felt everything collapse, his lies, his plan, his future, all destroyed, by a dog who refused to abandon love. As they handcuffed him, Luca watched from the ambulance, eyes calm, steady, victorious. Helena, weak but alive, whispered as the doors closed. He forgot one thing: a dog doesn't betray. Helena survived, slowly, painfully, but she lived to tell the truth. Adrian was sentenced to life in prison. Luca never left Helena's side again, loyal as breath, fierce as justice, and in the quiet of the mountains, people still say they found the truth because a dog refused to let evil win.